Winterizing your camper properly will help protect your investment so you can enjoy it for years to come. Have a plan. Visit Greenway RV's website at www.greenwayrv.com, where you can find a Winterize checklist. Kurt will guide us through some of the first steps. Be sure your camper is level, then drain the water lines and the water heater. Pull on the pressure relief valve, then pull the plug. For campers with an exterior power switch, make sure the switch is turned off. It's a good idea to turn off the circuit breaker to the water heater before you start draining it. And be sure to drain the gray and black water tanks at a dump station for proper disposal.
Kurt just followed the outside draining of the tanks, and we're going to go on to bypassing the water heater. So the water heater here on this camper specifically is a 3-valve system. The valves right now are in the configuration to function as normal, hooked up to water at your house. Now when you go to Winterize, you're going to bypass the water heater so that no antifreeze and or water, nothing's going to be in your hot water heater. So the valve here, this is your inlet pipe going into the water heater. You're going to turn that in the opposite direction than it is now, so it's perpendicular to the pipe and shut off. Then you're going to go to your bypass. So this is your bypass hose, and you're going to open that valve so that the antifreeze can bypass the water heater going up this hose. To stop it from going into the top of the water heater, you're going to shut this valve off, which stops it from going into the top of the water heater as well, and diverts it back into the camper system. So virtually it is making a U-turn at the water heater and or bypassing it. Now there are other bypass systems that are in place. This is basically the system that we just had down there, which is a 3-valve system, and this is in operate. This would be in bypass, which you bypassing the valve going into the tank here. You're opening the bypass, and you're opening it here to divert it actually back to the RV here. This is a 2-valve system. This is less common, but still some of them have it, and that would be just turning the valve here and turning the valve here to divert it back. Now this is very common these days. This is a single valve system. Right here would be in operation mode, so it's allowing the water into the hot water heater, and then the hot water heater here has a check valve that will only allow water to flow out but not in. So in order for this to be put into bypass, you're just going to turn this one lever vertical in line with the bypass hose. The water would come up here, stop at the check valve, and go back into the camper. The last but not least, and the most rare, is usually on a much older camper, is bypassing it yourself with a hose. Sometimes you have to take the plumbing off of the hot water heater itself and install a hose like this, connecting the 2 hoses together, and in order to bypass the hot water heater. That's very rare, but on older units it can.
Okay, the purpose of this segment is to show you some of the campers, especially the fifth wheels, have this type of winterizing system or water system. There's normal use pressurized water source. You're going to be hooking the things up in here. There's different valves. This key tells you how. Our purpose, we want to show the winterizing portion, so we're going to throw the valves from this, which is your normal use, to the winterizing position. Over here is your water inlet. Okay, everything hooks up to that, and then you just adjust the valves to these positions here to do your winterizing. So here we're going to throw it to the sanitize winterize mode, and then the center portion is the bypass of the water heater, and it's in bypass right now. And then the last valve is down here, and that is to open and close for the freshwater tank. Okay, we want it shut, which is in the up position. From that point, you would hook up your hose that we used in a previous segment with a regular garden hose end and a 3/8 inch barb, 3/8 inch diameter hose. Hook that up here, go in and turn your pump on and cycle everything through here. Once again, you make sure that you take your water filter out, because if you run it through this system right now, the pink antifreeze gets on here. It coats the cloth in this filter and you won't ever get it out. The rest of it is pretty self-explanatory once you get used to doing that. When you're ready to summarize the camper, you throw it back into the position here that tells you how to sanitize the fresh water lines. You can gravity fill or pressurized water source the valves in whatever direction. Alright, this is part of the job where you get to sit down. We're going to hook up the pump. There's a couple different kinds of pumps. There's one that has a screw-on fitting here. That would be this, and you'd have your winterizing hose just like this. And then there's also a flow jet type pump with a compression fit. And that would be, you take the hose out, put this one in, and then clamp that down. Okay, we're going to use this one right now. So what first we do, find the inlet side. That's the one that comes from the water tank up to the filtered side of the pump or the inlet side of the pump. We're going to unscrew this. Might be a good idea to have a rag laying underneath here. Sometimes a little bit of water will drip out of the pump. Okay, and what we want to do is screw our winterizing hose on. We get that on, we're going to put it into our jug of antifreeze. Okay, that's it for this part of it. Now we need to turn the demand pump on, which is there, and the switch is generally up in the kitchen somewhere. Sometimes it's in the bathroom. Once we do that, we want to turn that on and go to the sink closest to the pump, which is right here in the bathroom on the vanity, and we'll start there and then we'll work our way around. What we're going to do is do all the sinks, the shower, the toilet. If we have an outside shower, we're going to do that. If we have a washer dryer hookup, we're going to do it also, and dishwasher. If you have any other things in your camper that have water on the pressurized system, those also have to be winterized.
Last but not least, still very important, is your city water connection. Want to make sure that you get antifreeze out of this as well. So first thing you're going to do is pop it off. Most of the time they do have a screen little rubber filter inside of there, so you're going to remove that. With two people, I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it right now. So I'm going to relieve the pressure, and a little bit of water came out there. Now I'm going to let Kurt know to turn on the pump. Now I'm going to let Kurt know to turn on the pump.
Alright, here's the water pump. We're going to turn that on.
Which in turn is going to bring pink antifreeze back to here. So now I got pink, and I let it go. So that is completely winterized now and done.